Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Brooke Buckner here with Nick Luttrell and meteorologist Simone Thomas. And Nick, we're going to start with you because the committee had us sweating, but the Hogs are officially in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they are. We got a little worried. It was like the last 4 teams that were getting announced. Out of 68 teams, the last 4, and Arkansas finally got in. It was a little nerve-wracking, but they got in as a 10 seed, facing off against Kansas on Thursday in Providence, Rhode Island. So. A little far if you're a Razorback fan to make that drive, but it'll also be right here on THV 11 CBS, so that'll be cool for our viewers to get to watch that on our show and everything. So
for sure,
yeah, very exciting for the Razorbacks.
We'll keep up with all the updates from you coming up in sports and throughout the week. But first, we have to talk about all the updates we got with the weather over the weekend. Obviously, tornado reports just keep on coming in this weekend.
You know, the National Weather Service has been hard at work conducting those surveys. They are scheduled to do more tomorrow and over the next several days ahead. But so far we have 5 confirmed tornadoes from Friday, 2 of which were rated EF4. Now, the last time Arkansas saw more than one F4 or EF4 tornado in a single day, that was on the biggest March tornado outbreak we've had in recorded history. That was on March 1st, 1997. I'm sure that's before all of us in the building's time or on air's time. Now, looking ahead to the next several days as people continue the recovery and cleanup process, not a whole lot of rain is expected. This is the rainfall outlook over the next 7 days, and up in northeast Arkansas at most could see up to an inch of rain, but honestly that opportunity for rain is coming as we look towards next weekend. So the week ahead is looking to be dry, but with the lack of rain, and as I showed you at the top of the show, that wildfire risk is increasing. That is going to be the top story over the next couple of days. So a more detailed check-in of the week ahead is coming up in just a few.
Thanks, Simone. Friday's devastating storms left multiple counties with significant damage and power outages. As cleanup begins, THV 11's Maya Ellison highlights the strength of the Cave City community during this challenging time.
For the Cave City community, a tornado is a rare sight, but it was Friday night when the town was hit by an EF3 tornado, leaving behind extensive damage. And as for the community, they're left shocked.
I can't even hardly talk about it without tearing up because this is my community. This is our community.
Drive into Cave City and you'll see the evidence of Friday night's tornado. At this church, the sign is missing and its foundation torn apart with nothing but pillars left behind. Even homes and businesses along the road destroyed.
And I've had conversations with so many people, we just don't know what to do. What are we going to do? How are we going to get food? How are we going to get clothing?
That's where those on the ground come into play. On North Main Street, linemen are working on down power lines. Down the street at Cave City Middle School, relief efforts are taking place with volunteers like Barry Wilkes playing a part in the recovery process.
This has been brought up here by individuals for the last 2 days, bringing cars, bringing trucks.
100% donated items will assist those affected by the storm. Each volunteer you see is a part of the larger effort to help.
We've had emergency management from the state. The biggest call to action we've had is, just sticking together.
Other organizations have stepped in, like the American Red Cross Greater Arkansas chapter.
Today we had teams coming in to bring in water and snacks and supplies that people may need to help clean up.
And with the support of the community, residents say it makes the tough times a little easier.
We have wonderful stamina, we have perseverance. We're just genuinely a good community of people, so I know we'll persevere.
In Cave City, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Maya. We learned that the community has reached its limit of volunteers at this time, but they are still in need of items like chainsaws and excavators. You can visit our website, thv11.com, to stay up to date and learn more. And here's a look now at how many are still in the dark tonight. The blue is the areas that are mostly back on the grid, but there are still a few counties in the northeastern part of the state without power. We showed you this map last night and it showed more than 8,000. But tonight that number has fallen to about 4,000. In the hours after the storms rolled through, there were at least 30,000 without power. Weather is really the story across the country tonight, as many are still recovering. This is video from Alabama, where a bus flipped on its side, landing on top of a high school gym. Lots of people there left with broken windows and fallen power lines, and some even lost their homes.
It was just a matter of 2 minutes, and it was coming through the trees right behind us. It sounded like a train had derailed. It took everything I had to hold the door, and I felt the house lift up and then set back down. And there for a second, I really thought the house was gone. Yeah, I recommend anybody, they give a warning or you better get somewhere pretty quick, because what we experienced last night, I don't want to have to go through again.
Tonight, a man is behind bars after an investigation found him guilty of murdering a woman last month. According to the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, this man on your screen, Cedric Powell, has been charged for capital murder and abuse of a corpse. You may remember back in February, a be on the lookout was issued after Ashley Humphrey was originally reported missing. She was found dead earlier this month, which led to police canceling the BOLO. Tonight, we also know a sex offender has been arrested in Arkadelphia. Friday night, police announced a car registered to Randy Watkins was seen in the city just a day before, and surveillance footage showed the driver getting out and walking towards I-30. Police say he has dangerous offenses in his past and had new warrants out for his arrest. He was taken into custody this morning at 9:30. Meanwhile, in national news, a federal judge in D.C. has blocked the Trump administration from using a wartime law from the 1700s to pursue deportations of Venezuelan migrants accused of having ties to a criminal gang. As CBS's Christian Benavidez reports, this comes as the Trump administration is doubling down on pursuing the deportation of a protest organizer at Columbia University.
The government of El Salvador released images Sunday showing what they say are 261 gang members deported from the U.S., mainly from Venezuela, that will be held in detention by that country. The announcement comes after a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from invoking a 1798 law called the Alien Enemies Act. The law would allow the arrest and deportation without typical due process of Venezuelan migrants who are accused of being members of the South American gang, Tren de Aragua. The judge in Washington blocked deportations with a 14-day restraining order. He said planes already in the air carrying deportees should turn around. It's unclear if the Trump administration violated that order.
We want to get rid of Tren de Aragua gang members. They're terrorists too. The president designated them, asked me to designate, and I did, as a terrorist organization. We want to get rid of them as well. We don't want terrorists in America. I don't know how hard that is to understand.
On Face the Nation, Secretary of State Marco Rubio also defended the administration's move to begin deportation proceedings against Mahmoud Khalil, a U.S. permanent resident who organized pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University.
If he had told us, I'm going over there and I'm going over there to become the spokesperson and one of the leaders of a movement that's going to turn one of your allegedly elite colleges upside down, people can't even go to school, library buildings being vandalized, we never would have let him in.
Meantime, concerns over tariffs still hang heavy for investors. The U.S. stock market will seek to recover Monday after a bruising week, which saw the worst losses in 2 years. Christian Benavidez, CBS News, Miami.
In addition to alleged members of the Venezuelan gang at Tren de Aragua, the president of El Salvador says members of the Salvadorian gang MS-13 were also deported to El Salvador. Tonight, astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams are on their way home after spending the last 9 months in space. They were only supposed to be in space for 8 days, but their Boeing Starliner spacecraft developed problems and flew home without them. The rocket launched Friday night just after 7 after a failed attempt Wednesday due to a mechanical problem. CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood says he doesn't like the narrative surrounded by the situation.
You know, the way the narrative has kind of become they're stranded in space, they've been abandoned in space. That's simply not true. They've never been stranded. They've always had a vehicle to come home in if they had to. The problem for NASA was they had to try to figure out a way to get Butch and Sunny Williams back to the ground without disrupting the space station schedule.
The pair, alongside 2 other crewmates, are expected to return no earlier than this coming Wednesday. Tonight, the Pope is also still recovering from his battle with double pneumonia. The 88-year-old entered his 5th week of hospital treatment Saturday, very much looking ahead as he worked on a signature priority of his papacy, and signs of his recovery are on a positive path. The Vatican says doctors have been working to reduce the Pope's nighttime reliance on the non-invasive ventilation mask, which will allow his lungs to work more. Doctors underlined that while the Pope's condition is stable, he still requires hospitalization for both physical and respiratory therapy, which are, quote, showing further gradual improvements. Besides treatment, the pontiff spent the day alternating between prayer, rest, and some work. In case you missed it, a decades-long dispute between the city of Pine Bluff and Jefferson County has finally come to an end. And as THV11's Rebecca Brown explains, it likely puts the city on the hook for a lot of money to pay for keeping criminals in the county jail.
We're excited about that, obviously. It was a huge win for us.
Sheriff Lafayette Woods Jr. expressed relief after enduring years of legal challenges, which led to numerous lawsuits and court appearances.
This has been a long, I think, court battle as a result of a suit filed by the city of Pine Bluff regarding billing that had not been satisfied that we had sent out for housing municipal prisoners for our adult detention facility.
The dispute traces back to 1993. The county started the process of building a new jail. The city cut a deal designed to pay for the number of people from Pine Bluff who ended up locked up. But that deal fell apart, causing disagreements over unpaid bills. Fast forward to 2020, the Jefferson County Quorum Court passed an ordinance to make the city pay $30 per day for each detainee. A year later, the city sued, saying that old agreement blocked the county's new ordinance. Judges would have to sort out who owed what.
At that time, the amount owed was $191,000, I believe, a little bit more than that. And at that point, they decided rather than pay the actual amount that was unpaid at that point, to appeal that decision.
Fast forward again to this week, a big decision in favor of the county.
The appeal court decided to affirm the lower court's decision.
Sheriff Woods says having this restored cash flow should help improve jail safety.
What need to be done and improved upon is our internal access control system, our electronic system. That system is the same system that was actually placed in during the initial construction of the jail back in 2007.
And as for the county and city moving forward.
And obviously you don't want to have to go to court, but sometimes it's necessary. And as we move forward, my focus is to continue to maintain safety and security of all those within our custody.
In Pine Bluff, Rebecca Brown, THV11 News.
Well, I'm sure we'll all be able to appreciate a quiet forecast over the next several days. Wind gusts as high as 20 miles an hour are expected tomorrow with temperatures in the lower to middle 70s. Your 11-day outlook is coming up right after the break.
And here's a look at what's coming up tomorrow on THV11 Plus. Remember, if you haven't already, you can download the app for free right now on your TV. THV11 News at 10 is back in 2.5 minutes.